June 3rd, 2023. The heat in Florida's capital is just beginning to build, but inside a small home on the south side of Tallahassee, a nightmare is already underway. Police receive a 911 call from a father. His name is Andrew Wiley. He is 36 years old. He tells dispatchers that his daughter, 12-year-old Lori Paige, is gone. He says he was working the night shift. When he returned home in the early morning hours, he claims Lori had vanished. He offers a detail. She took her backpack with her. It sounds like a runaway case, a teenager acting out. But those who know Lori know that story doesn't fit. Lori Paige was a student at Griffin Middle School. She was 12 years old. By all accounts, she was not a child who simply wandered off into the dark. She had a family spread across 3 states, Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee. But her immediate world revolved around that house and her father's care.
But almost immediately, the machinery of law enforcement grinds to life. The Tallahassee Police Department initiates a massive search. We're talking about helicopters in the sky, canine units tracking scents, and officers fanning out across the city. But there is a problem. Actually, there are several. As detectives dig into the timeline Andrew Wiley provided, things start to fray around the edges. He says he was at work. He says she left in the night. But the evidence isn't matching the story. In these early weeks, Lori's mother, who does not live with Andrew, is screaming into the void on social media. She is begging for help. She is pleading with the police to look closer at her ex-partner. She says, and I quote, "If I had Lori, I would know where she's at." It is a gut instinct. And as we are about to learn, gut instincts are rarely wrong. Months pass. Lori's face is on billboards. The community hasn't forgotten her. Volunteers gather at churches, putting up flyers, refusing to let the world move on. But the trail is cold.
For the police, however, the fire isn't going out. It's just changing shape. Andrew Wiley stopped being a concerned father and became a person of interest in the minds of the detectives long before they had a body. On February 2nd, 2024, 8 months after Lori vanished, law enforcement seizes a phone from Andrew Wiley's residence. This is the turning point. You see, killers often make one fatal mistake. They think the internet is a secret diary. They think search histories disappear. Inside that phone, forensic analysts hit a goldmine of horror. Andrew Wiley had been searching for remote areas with bodies of water. Not just anywhere, specifically in Alabama and Georgia. He wasn't looking for vacation spots. He was looking for a tomb. The digital evidence leads detectives to a specific location, a remote, brush-covered area in Thomas County, Georgia. Locals call it a plantation. It is dense. It is unforgiving. It is the perfect place to hide a secret. Investigators cross state lines. They search that Georgia woodland. They search it once, twice, 3 times. But the earth is stubborn. The brush is thick. The rain has come and gone for nearly 2 years. They find nothing. Yet the circumstantial case is mounting. Police also discover that Andrew Wiley was being treated for a sexually transmitted disease around the time of Lori's disappearance. There is no easy way to say this, so I'll just say it as the investigators saw it. The doctors wanted to examine him fully. He refused. But he took the medication. Why would a man need STD medication if his girlfriend was away at National Guard training out of state? As State Attorney Jack Campbell would later put it, it paints a picture no one wanted to look at. A father, a daughter, a secret, and a violent end.
April 5th, 2025. This is the date that brings closure to a 22-month nightmare.
In a twist of fate that feels almost cinematic, authorities in Thomas County, Georgia, conduct a prescribed burn. This is a routine safety measure, setting controlled fires to clear dangerous underbrush to prevent wildfires. But fire is a revealer of truth. As the flames die down and the smoke clears, the land is stripped bare. The foliage that hid the secrets for nearly 2 years is gone. Detectives return to the plantation. This time, they bring a very special officer with them. A canine named Kairos with the North Florida search team. Kairos does what the human eye could not. The dog alerts on a spot in the ash and the dirt. They find human remains. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement rushes the samples to the lab. But everyone knows. The location, the history, the father's search history. Everyone knows who it is. Days later, the confirmation comes. It is Lori Paige. The 12-year-old who ran away is never coming home. On April 11th, 2025, the Tallahassee Police Department holds a press conference. Andrew Wiley is arrested and charged with second-degree murder. He is ordered to be held without bond. But the story doesn't end there, because the why is finally dragged into the light. In June 2025, State Attorney Jack Campbell goes on the record with WCTV. He doesn't mince words. He says the evidence proves the motive was sexual assault. There is evidence that Andrew Wiley may have impregnated his own daughter. There is evidence of the STD. There was evidence of a Plan B purchase, the morning after pill, just days before Lori vanished. Campbell lays out the prosecution's theory. Lori was a liability. She was evidence of an unspeakable crime. To silence her, to hide his sins, Andrew Wiley extinguished her life, drove her across state lines, and left her in the Georgia woods. The state's evidence was strong. The most damning piece? Wiley's own phone, leading police directly to the dump site because he was too arrogant or too panicked to turn it off. It looked like a trial was coming. It looked like justice, slow, painful, but inevitable, was on the horizon. But on June 19th, 2025, the story takes its final, unsatisfying turn. Andrew Wiley is found unresponsive in his cell at the Leon County Detention Facility. Jail medics try to save him. They fail. The man who killed Lori Paige is dead. The public is immediately suspicious. Was this a suicide? Did another inmate know what he did to that little girl? Was there a hit? But the medical examiner's report offers a sterile, clinical answer. A pulmonary embolism. A blood clot traveled to his lung. It stopped his heart. State Attorney Campbell insists there is no evidence of foul play. Officially, Andrew Wiley died of natural causes. He will never sit in a courtroom. He will never hear a jury say, guilty. He will never face the family of the child he murdered. He cheated the rope. He cheated the cell. He slipped away into a medical loophole, leaving behind only questions and a gravesite in Georgia, where a 12-year-old girl was found in the ashes of a forest fire. Lori Paige was failed by the person who was supposed to protect her most. In the wake of her death, the Tallahassee Police Department changed their policy. They no longer classify missing juveniles as runaways automatically. They now classify them as missing. Because a backpack left behind doesn't mean a child left willingly. It usually means a child was taken. Community leaders like Pastor Rudy Ferguson continue to remind us of the lesson no one wants to learn. The plantation in Thomas County has returned to its silence. The fire has passed. The brush will grow back. But the earth remembers what was laid upon it. And Tallahassee remembers a girl with a bright shirt and a future stolen by the man who gave her his last name. Lori Paige was 12 years old. who hunted by his father, whose responsibility is to protect her. Rest in peace, Lori.